All right, welcome back in here to NewsWire on this Thursday in the SportsGrid Network. Joe Ranieri in for Craig Mish as we turn our attention to college football, week number 11. We just had that really fun committee ranking show, whatever that thing is there, because none of it's going to matter by the time we get to the end of this month, and nobody knows that better than our good friend Paul Stone. And Paul, you got to love it, right? The rankings, this is great, but over the next couple of weeks, none of what we just saw this week is going to hold true. There's going to be a lot of jockeying for position, I think, over the next couple of weeks with some of the games that we have coming up.
Absolutely, Joe. I mean, there's a lot of talk about it, and it gives college football fans and media types, something to talk about and argue about and take exception with. But as you indicated, there's a lot of football to still be played, a lot of big time games, and many of them this weekend. So, it's not gonna matter when we get to early December. The last one's the only one that really counts.
Take a picture, guys. It lasts longer there if you're in the top 5. Let's talk about the Big 12 here, Paul, because I don't want to say elimination, but BYU, Texas Tech, they're probably on track to play each other in the Big 12 championship anyway. But what gives a double-digit favorite for Texas Tech this week?
Yeah, I tell you, this is a big game in Lubbock this weekend. Obviously, ESPN Game Day there for the first time since 2008. I love both these teams, and I certainly respect what BYU's done with their true freshman quarterback, Bear Bachmeier. Just a breath of fresh air in the college game. He doesn't slide. He likes to not only take contact, he likes to initiate it. Wears number 47. Just done a great job since their expected starter, Jake Retzloff, withdrew from school in the summer rather than face a suspension over supposed violations of the school's honor code. So, man, Bachmeier's been one of the stories of college football, and I love Bachmeier. I love BYU, but I like Texas Tech even more, Joe. This is a team that if they bring their A game, I think their A game is better than BYU's, and they're getting healthy. Bayron Morton, their starting quarterback, who's had injury issues throughout his career, he returned last week, took Texas Tech into Manhattan, Kansas. They handled Kansas State relative ease, 43-20. And not only did Morton return, this didn't get as much notoriety or coverage, but their tight end, Terrence Carter Jr., 6'2", 248. This is a guy they list as tight end, but he can go out wide, kind of a hybrid type, causes matchup problems. He's just a big part of their offense. We saw Texas Tech's A game back in September in Salt Lake City when they dismantled the Utes 34-10. I think Tech's bringing the kitchen sink again on Saturday. I like Tech by about 2 touchdowns over undefeated BYU.
I don't want to say, but 2 underrated defenses too as well, Paul. I like both of these defenses. This number feels a little much, doesn't it?
A lot of people have said that, and I understand that it seems high, but BYU from a power rating standpoint, even though they are undefeated, I mean, they've had some narrow escapes, and they just don't resonate as much with the numerical component of it. They are undefeated though, and they play great defense, and they're gonna be able to state their case on Saturday in Lubbock. I really think though this Texas Tech team, if they get healthy, which they're pretty healthy right now, they've got one defensive tackle still out. I think they can challenge. I think they can make some noise in the playoffs if they do indeed make the 12-team playoff.
One of the teams that are interesting to follow here is because they could end a lot of teams' seasons here that have hopes of a college football playoff, and that is Oregon. And it's going to start there in Iowa this weekend here because then they got to go and take on US. They got a whole bunch of teams that are still vying to be top 25, and they could throw a wrench in all of it. What do we like about them against Iowa this week, or don't we like them?
I'll tell you, look at this Oregon team, Joe, and you kind of asked that question. There was a Wendy's commercial, I'll date myself, a long time ago. Where's the beef? In Oregon, they had an opportunity a couple of weeks ago against Indiana, got them in Austin Stadium there at home, and the Hoosiers are very good. But, I mean, Indiana was the better team clearly that day on Oregon's home field. A couple of weeks prior before that, we'll remember that Indiana traveled across the country to Penn State, defeated the Nittany Lions in double overtime. Really looked like a good data point at the time. But now Penn State's on a 5-game losing streak, so maybe not so much at the present. Oregon came in the playoff rankings, the first debut poll on this past Tuesday at number 9, which is about where I think they should be. This Iowa team, though, is tricky. They don't have a whole lot of flash and dash. They're not going to wow you. Their trademark style is run the football, play sound defense, great technique. They're going to win the special teams battle. They're going to win the turnover battle more often than not. And they are tough at Kinnick Stadium. That's been Indiana's toughest game to date by far. Iowa actually led Indiana 13-10 early in the fourth quarter the last Saturday in September. Indiana, of course, rallied to win that game 20-15, but the Hoosier offense, only 337 total yards against this Iowa defense. I think Iowa's going to make this a 4-quarter game. I wouldn't be surprised at all if the Hawkeyes didn't defeat the Ducks on Saturday at Kinnick Stadium. In any case, give me Iowa plus 6.5 over Oregon.
Shocker. Iowa playing quality defense there with Kurt Ferenc. Paul, how about Kansas and Arizona here? Because this total doesn't feel high enough to me. This could be a wild one here. Taking on Arizona. I mean, I thought Kansas might lose that Kansas State game twice when they just laid an egg in the first half against Oklahoma State, but they righted the ship in the second half. What do you have going on in this one?
Yeah, this should be a high-scoring game. You've got 2 veteran quarterbacks. Arizona, of course, Noah Fafita, and then there at Kansas, Jalen Daniels, who's playing well again this season. You know, I look at this game, and it just comes down to the basic eye test. Arizona, they have played really well at home. They're 4-1 on the season. We talked about BYU a little bit earlier. They actually led 7th-ranked BYU by 10 points. Early in the fourth quarter, BYU rallied, won that game 33-27 in double overtime. So Arizona's just 1 game away from being undefeated at home. And while Arizona's played at a high level on their home field, Kansas really has been something less than stellar on the road so far this season. They lost to Missouri and Texas Tech, 2 good football teams, but lost to those 2 by a total of 36 points. Had to come from behind and rally to defeat Central Florida for their only road victory of the year, 27-20. You look at Fafita that we talked about. He threw 12 interceptions last year, really was coming off a subpar showing. But this season, he's been on his game. He's thrown for 2,042 yards through the season's first 8 games, completed 65% of his throws, 8 yards an attempt, and 21 touchdowns against just 4 interceptions. So a real good TD to interception ratio. Kansas in their last 25 games is an away underdog, only 9-16 against the spread. I think Arizona is going to win this game, defeat Kansas by more than a touchdown there in Tucson on Saturday.
Going to be a fun one here. Going to be some high scoring, that is for sure. Let me ask you a question. How confident are you? Big Ten, Ohio State, Indiana, Oregon. How many teams are we talking about, you think, in the postseason here?
I think Big Ten's going to be a three-bid conference. It's going to be, I think it's going to get 3 bids, and I think the SEC is going to get 5. That's going to be a controversial point. But I think, obviously, the depth of competition in that league and the fact that you just don't have, I mean, obviously, Indiana and Ohio State, I don't think anybody can really question at this point, based on all the bodies of work, that they are 1 and 2 in some order, one or the other. But after that, there's a little bit of a drop-off. So I think we're going to see 5 from the SEC and 3 from the Big Ten. That will be my bold prediction.
There's somewhere written that you have to take an ACC team. I'm just asking. I don't know. I'm just saying. I guess they have to, Paul, at some particular point here. But that should be a lot of fun to watch unfold as well. Paul Stone, always a pleasure, my man. Enjoy the games. We appreciate the time as always. NewsWire.